So, in a sense, to sum up, is that really what you feel you've brought generally to the field during your years of practice? Is that, do you feel, your biggest contribution?
I don't know, because I have never reflected on these things before, and I'm sorry. I certainly hope that I've brought right through my career an element of justice and fairness, and also respect for the rights of individuals, and also for non-discrimination. But it's very difficult to make these broad generalisations, and it's really for others to judge. So I think I won't say anything more about it.
I will ask, though, you were chairing the Law and Justice Foundation.
I still do,
Yes, so what's involved with that?
Well, it's an interesting organisation which really works to improve access to justice for all sorts of disadvantaged groups and people and individuals. It does lots of very good research which often gets acted upon. It has a grants program which makes grants to community organisations and universities for research on topics that are often have a practical application. So it's a very worthy organisation. In fact, I've got a board meeting this afternoon. So.
It's the equivalent of the Victoria Law Foundation?
Yes, although I think it's got a broader charter and much more money.
Yes. Oh, that's good that you're still involved. And I know that for quite a while after you finished at the Court of Appeal, you were very busy for a while going and advising other countries about their justice systems and their environmental rights.
Well, particularly in environmental law, I spent a lot of time in Indonesia trying to educate judges there. And over a 3-year period with an AusAid venture that we participated in, we put more than 2,000 Indonesian judges through courses that would help them better understand the role of a judge. But I went all over the world addressing conferences and judges in every continent, South Africa and elsewhere in Africa, Kenya, Eastern Europe, throughout the Americas, the Middle East, all the island states, trying to help judges become better judges.
Could our adversarial system learn from some of the other systems that you've come into contact with? For example, I know that in a way, and if you're presiding over environment questions, you're more a bit like an inquisitorial judge. That is well known on the European continent. But what can we learn, do you think, from some of the other cultures in terms of their systems of law compared to ours?
Well, I think we've got a lot to learn from each other, and our adversarial system has been changing. It's becoming more interventionist, more inquisitorial to a certain extent, and also some of the European nations which have continental inquisitorial systems have started to introduce some of the aspects of our means under the adversarial system of having more cross-examination. And that was one of the things that came through very much in Indonesia, which has a Dutch system of continental law that it inherited, that it was finding that it had to come out of the strict shell of continental law and start to apply some of our principles of law, because their legislature was making all of these statutes that were often assisted by Australians or Americans or British in their way of legal thinking. And so whether they liked it or not, they needed to learn how to approach judgments, fact-finding, legal decision-making, the giving of judgments, which they didn't used to do very much at all, by incorporating some of our laws. So we've got a lot to learn from each other, is what I would say.
And have you written to that effect?
Yes, I have written several papers. But there certainly has been an awakening of judges around the world to improve their operations, to improve their knowledge base, their education base, and to make them better judges. And I've been fortunate to be able to contribute to that.
And is that why you received an Order of Australia?
I don't really know why I received an Order of Australia, but I guess that was part of it. Community work was part of it, as well as contribution to the law.
What year did you get that?
Well, it goes back a fair way. I'm not sure, actually.
So it's before your retirement?
Yes, yes.
It's certainly a recognition, nevertheless, of your work and in the community. Yes. Well, I guess then to sum up finally, you've spoken very eloquently about your many contributions to the legal profession in Australia. And looking back over your life, have you got any concluding observations for would-be barristers, people at the bar here now, what we can do for the future in terms of our own legal and justice system?
I think the only thing I would say is that they should be not only true to themselves but true to the principles of justice. And whilst they should always faithfully and properly represent their clients, they should always remember that they have an overarching duty to the court. And I would encourage young barristers to get involved in community affairs as well as running their practices, because I think that that's very rewarding.
Paul Stein, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.